So the title of this video is not a joke. I did brew a beer. I've actually been doing a lot more with beer brewing recently. It's been kind of a fun new deep dive. I still make a ton of mead, but beer's been kind of my interesting side hustle, I guess. And I wanted to brew a YouTubers beer because I don't feel confident enough to make my own. I'm going to steal recipes from other people. Specifically, I stole this recipe from The Apartment Brewer, who's a fantastic beer brewing YouTuber who, as it goes in his name, he brews kind of in more small spaces. He's not one of those people that has a, whole warehouse of things. Anyways, I found his Christmas spiced Weizenbock. Now, I know the time this is coming out, we are after Christmas, way after, so it's kind of irrelevant. But I brewed his recipe. I'm not gonna try to detail the whole process to you. I'll do a little quick montage of me making the beer, and of course a recipe card you can find. But he, in his video that he made about this brew, explained things way better, like his choices for why he does certain things and the amounts. So I'm not going to try and justify what I did. I'm just going to say I cloned his recipe. Alongside cloning it, I reached out to him and said, hey man, I brewed your beer and I'd love to send some to you to share, as well as sit down and chat. So in a moment, you're gonna see him join me for the tasting of this Christmas spiced Weizenbock. And there's another side of this. I did a podcast with him and we talked all about beer brewing, and he doesn't really have a lot of experience with mead, but we kind of talk about mead as well and the comparisons, and it's a really fun chat. So I hope you'll go check that out. This whole tasting you're gonna hear about is in the middle of that episode. So anyways, enjoy this tasting. Again, I know this is a beer video, so if you're not a beer person, I apologize, but I wanted to do something slightly different. Let's go and check it out and see what Steve thinks of my attempt at a clone of his beer. I brewed, and I'm not going to talk about it too much, the process of it, because I feel like, again, you do so well at explaining why you do things that I don't want to even begin to attempt that. But I brewed a Christmas spiced Weizenbock recipe from you. Can you tell us about the Weizenbock style?
Sure.
What's interesting about it?
Yeah, so this is an older Christmas beer that I had come up with. I want to say this was about 4 years ago. I try to do Christmas beer every year. It's one of my favorite things to just kind of do something that's a little festive for the holiday season. And a Weizenbock is a nice base for it because it's this really nice, rich, malty wheat beer base. But if you've ever had a German Hefeweizen, which is your traditional Bavarian wheat beer, it's got that banana clove kind of thing going on. It's got the full fluffy mouthfeel, lots of wheat in there, lots of, really nice satisfying smoothness. So take that, turn the ABV up to 8, 9, 10% alcohol. It starts to push on the yeast a lot more. It gets a lot more of these really kind of intense yeast characteristics that are kind of verge on a Belgian ale. So you're getting spiciness, you're getting a lot of fruitiness. But with the Weissbier yeast, specifically the German wheat yeast, it's going to do a little bit more of just specifically banana and clove esters and phenols. And so that's going to create this really powerful flavor overall. And then I was like, okay, let's take the kind of clovey characteristic of it and the banana characteristic, and then try to expand that using some spices to kind of accent things.
Hmm.
So threw in some, I want to say I did vanilla to kind of like round things out a little bit, but I threw in some orange peel to kind of give another citrus element to that, and then in some like I think it's a classic blend of Christmas spices, so
Yeah.
like nutmeg, cinnamon, ginger, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And yeah, let it sit for a long time. It was delicious. I bottled up a whole bunch. I aged it for a couple of years. It was pretty good. So I'm pumped to see how this turned out because I have not tasted this beer, I guess, in like 2-3 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna temper your expectations a little
awesome.
bit, just
Well,
a little
no,
bit there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm sure.
Well, let's give it a shot. Let's see if it's anywhere close. If it even hits 25% of what yours was, I'd be content.
So tell me a little bit about like I guess the kind of how close to the recipe did it go? Did you follow it like line by line, or
Yeah,
did you do similar
I had to
numbers and everything?
I think I had to sub out. My orange peel was different. I can't remember what I did for the orange peel. It might have been fresh. I don't recall. But then the malts and things, I did 100% of what was there. So,
Okay.
and I don't know. I put an ABV on my can, which I think was wrong. I don't know. Half the time with beer, I forget to remember that, and so mine says 5.5%, but I don't think that's accurate.
Okay. Did you have your final gravity and your original gravity numbers in there? Because you can just do a quick calculation on that.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful color, by the way.
I don't have those handy, unfortunately. Probably should have kept those down.
No worries. Like I'm just out of
Yeah.
curiosity entirely. So
Well, I could
It
definitely
looked
give the original. I can't give the final. I mean, to
yeah, my
what
original
I
was somewhere around like 8, I think.
to what I remember, it went as dry as it could. 10.08 or 10.9, something like that.
Okay. Nice.
Let's see.
Get some of the spices on the nose.
I did use a lot of like powdered spices. So that I don't know if that was a
I
quality
think I did that
idea
too.
or if that was good or bad.
I mean, ultimately, like spices are tricky to brew with, first of all. So like kudos to like jumping into a pretty difficult beer style, to be honest with you. But like whole spices generally going to get you a little bit more character, like that's representative of the actual spice that it is, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Uh-huh.
Powdered spices will do the same thing. They're just going to be a little bit tougher to control. So spices, I imagine it's the same way in mead, but a little bit goes a very long way. And it's very easy to like overdo it, and that results in a beer being a little bit like usually like astringent kind of, and then sometimes like undrinkable if there's too many spices in it. It can be pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And I've done that before because that's how I know that. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this one turns out. It smells great.
Well, let's see. Again, be as brutal as you want. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
All right, I will try not to bring you down.
Hey, that's how we grow. That's how we learn. This was brew number on my list 511 of things I've done. So, again, I've had a lot of things not go well.
That is delicious. That is, I remember that flavor quite well, actually. That's like that's pretty representative of what I remember.
Really? Oh.
It's very like I do get the spices a lot more in the flavor than I did off of the nose.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, yeah, it's got a really nice kind of the background of nutmeg, definitely the orange, a little bit of vanilla. Did you use the vanilla?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
And I mean, I think I used a vanilla bean or something, like that. I really wish I could just find your base recipe that.
There it is. I can pull it up on Brewfather.
Did you? Yeah. Did you make those recipes on Brewfather, or did someone transcribe them for you?
So I make all my recipes on Brewfather, but at some point in time, basically that was only like a 2-year old, or I only did that like 2 years ago. Before that, I did actually transcribe every single other recipe that I made over the course of a couple like weeks, and gradually uploaded them to Brewfather. So everything should be like, kind of like working backwards. It should be on there. But yeah, this one did, the cinnamon, orange peel, nutmeg, ginger, vanilla bean. I'm getting all those.
Yeah, I did follow those.
Does
I mean,
taste
other than the
fairly
orange
dry.
peel. It is dry. Yeah.
yeah. Which unfortunately does kind of pull away some of the maltiness.
So is that
But it's good. Yeah, it's very.
if you were
drinkable.
diagnosing then the it
This
being
is a
too
good beer. I'd
dry?
have more of it.
Well, thank you.
Like you sent 2 cans, and I will be having another one.
So as you are like when you taste things, obviously you have a scientific side of your brain that's going to be like diagnosing things. What noting that this is more dry than maybe yours, is that a symptom of a mash temp being too high or low? Is that
Could be a lot of things. Typically, people kind of point towards the mash temperature as one of the first things to diagnose with that. And so dryness is just, as you know, it's just the measure of attenuation of the yeast in the fermentation. That can be due to several things, like your mash temperature, obviously the activity of beta amylase enzyme, which is going to be your enzyme that's responsible for taking the complex sugar molecules and starches and chopping those up into very, very tiny, very fermentable maltose molecules, which the yeast will absolutely just eat that, turn it into alcohol. You have more maltose and other complex sugars in your fermentation, you're going to end up with a much more attenuated beer. That's one thing. The other thing is yeast can be very aggressive. And they can really go in and ferment a lot more complex sugars sometimes. So that's another factor that can take place. Also, your pH can modify this and change it. And really also like your temperature calibration on your equipment is also a big factor that a lot of people don't think about. So those things in combination tend to result in, your general, I guess, range of attenuation. But the other flip side of that is unless it's really on, I guess, pretty extreme differences pretty extreme ends of that range, you can usually not detect a super dry versus a super under attenuated beer. So this to me, it's not tasting super dry. It's just drier than I remember.
Yeah.
So for me, I can't guess final gravities. That's not a thing that I can do. But it does taste like a little bit more attenuated than examples of a Weizenbock that I remember.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't think it's out of style per se at all. It just does kind of eliminate some of the more complex sweetness, I think, that I'm remembering or looking for in a Weizenbock. But like I said, it's a very drinkable, very easy drinking beer, which is one of the benefits of a high attenuated beer for sure. It's a very easy sipper.
Well, I'm glad it turned out okay. I was excited to make it, and obviously it's something different than what I've made before. I have not. Is that true? I don't think I've made anything with spices in beer. I think this is my first go at it, and most things I've done have been pretty.
I'll tell you did it right because, like I said earlier, most people when they first start out brewing and they throw spices in a beer, they're going to go nuts, and that's a lesson you learn once.